Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what's the very first thought that enters my mind when I wake up? Think about it for a moment, because that thought, whether you realize it or not, has the power to set the tone for your entire day. Some people wake up with worry, some with doubt, some with the heavy weight of yesterday still sitting on their shoulders. And others, they wake up with power, clarity, and purpose. The difference between those two groups isn't luck, it's not even circumstances. The difference is the words they choose to speak to themselves the moment the day begins.
Psychologists tell us that the mind is like a sponge in the morning.
When you wake up, your brain hasn't yet been filled with distractions, notifications, and noise. It's fresh, open, and waiting for instructions. And here's the truth most people don't know. The instructions your mind receives in those first moments decide how you will feel, act, and respond throughout the day. If your first words are negative, your brain follows that path. If your first words are empowering, your brain follows that path instead. That's why mornings are so critical. You are literally programming your own destiny every time the sun rises. And the tragedy is, most people give this sacred moment away. They let the past dictate the present. They allow doubt, laziness, and fear to write the script of their life. But you're not here to do that. You're here to rewrite the story. You're here because some part of you knows that what you tell yourself each morning can either build you or break you. Imagine this, 2 people wake up tomorrow. The first person says to themselves, I'm tired, I'm weak, I can't handle this day. Their body slumps, their energy drops. Their mind looks for evidence to prove those words right. Now the second person wakes up and says, I am strong, I am ready, I will not waste this day. Immediately their breathing changes, their chest rises higher, their posture straightens, their brain begins scanning for opportunities, not problems. Same morning, same world, but completely different outcome. That is the invisible power of self-talk. And here's what's even more fascinating. Your brain doesn't argue with you. It doesn't reject what you say to yourself. It accepts it, and then it starts working to make it real. If you repeat weakness, you live weak. If you repeat strength, you start to live strong. Every word is a seed, and like any seed, the more often you plant it, the faster it grows. This is why affirmations are not positive fluff or empty motivation. They are a form of mental programming that rewires your subconscious. But here's the secret most people miss. Consistency is what makes it work. Saying something once is like pouring a drop of water into dry soil. Nothing changes. But say it every day. Say it every morning with conviction. And suddenly you begin to notice a shift. Your actions follow your words. Your habits begin to align. And without even realizing it, you start to live a life built on power instead of fear. Now, maybe you've tried before. Maybe you've whispered words of encouragement to yourself but didn't feel much. That's because the mind takes time to catch up. Just like training your muscles, training your mind requires repetition. But once it clicks, once your brain starts believing those affirmations, everything in your life begins to change. You begin walking differently, talking differently, thinking differently, and eventually living differently. The truth is, we all carry 2 voices inside us. One voice says you're not enough, stay small, stay safe. The other voice says you are more than your excuses, you are more than your pain. Rise up. Which voice wins? The one you feed every morning. That's why this practice is not optional if you want to live at your highest level. It's essential. And here's the exciting part. Today, you're going to learn 12 powerful things to tell yourself every single morning. 12 affirmations that, if you practice them, will begin to shape you into someone unstoppable. Words that will give you strength when you feel weak, focus when you feel distracted, and calmness when life gets chaotic. If you stay until the end, you'll have a daily routine you can use every morning to transform not just your mindset, but your entire life. That's my promise to you. So ask yourself right now, what would my life look like if I woke up every day and started it with power? What would change if I replaced my doubts with discipline, my fears with courage, my excuses with determination? Because that's exactly what these 12 affirmations will do for you. Stay with me until the end, and I'll give you not just the words, but the psychological reasons behind why they work. You won't just repeat empty sentences, you'll understand why your brain believes them, why your body reacts to them, and why your life will shift because of them. That's the reward for those who stay committed to this journey. This morning routine isn't about motivation that fades. It's about transformation that lasts. And it starts right now with one choice. The choice to speak power into your life before the world tries to speak weakness into it. The words you speak to yourself are not just sounds. They are instructions. Every sentence you repeat becomes a command to your mind, and your mind obeys without question. That is the hidden power of self-talk. Most people don't realize they are programming themselves every single day, not through grand actions, but through the simple phrases they allow to echo inside their head. Say to yourself, "I'm weak," and your body listens. Say, "I am strong," and suddenly your brain begins to search for proof of that strength. Psychologists have proven something extraordinary. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between truth and lies. It only responds to repetition and emotion. If you tell yourself every morning that you are capable, worthy, and unshakable, your brain starts adjusting your behavior to match that belief. And the opposite is also true. Feed yourself doubt, and doubt becomes your reality. This is why people who constantly criticize themselves feel trapped in the same cycle. Their inner voice builds the prison they live in. But here's the liberating truth. You hold the key to break free. You can choose which words you feed your mind. You can replace the language of fear with the language of courage. You can stop reinforcing weakness and start reinforcing power. This is not about ignoring reality, it's about shaping it. Because the words you choose become the filter through which you see the world, and the world always reflects back the story you are telling yourself. Think about it. Your entire day is influenced by the dialogue in your head. Self-talk decides whether you face challenges with confidence or hesitation. It decides whether you rise or retreat. That's why mastering your self-talk is the foundation of mastering your life. Speak with weakness and life feels heavy. Speak with strength and life becomes a battlefield you are ready to win. So, if you want a life of power, it begins with a voice of power. And the most important time to use that voice is in the morning, when your mind is listening most closely. This is where the shift begins, and this is how transformation takes root. Mornings are the silent architects of your destiny. The very first moments after you wake up carry more weight than most people realize. When your eyes open, your mind is fresh, uncluttered, and ready to absorb whatever you feed it. This is the reason mornings are sacred. They are the foundation upon which the entire day is built. If you set that foundation with weakness, the day crumbles. But if you set it with strength, discipline, and clarity, the day bends in your favor. Think of your morning like the ignition of an engine. If the fuel is clean, the engine runs smooth. If the fuel is polluted, the entire system struggles. Your thoughts are that fuel. The first sentences you speak to yourself in the morning determine whether your energy flows with power or gets clogged with negativity. And once the tone is set, it's incredibly hard to reverse. That's why so many people feel stuck all day. They gave away their power before they even left the bed. Science has shown that the brain is in a highly suggestible state right after waking up. This means the words you choose at that moment sink deeper, creating stronger pathways in your subconscious. It's like writing directly onto a fresh page before it's filled with distractions, noise, and demands from the outside world. Miss that chance, and you let the world write its story over yours. Seize it, and you write your own story first. This is why powerful people guard their mornings. They know that the first battle of the day is not with the world, but with their own mind. Win that battle, and you carry momentum into every task, every decision, every challenge. Lose it, and you spend the day reacting instead of leading. So, if you want to live with clarity, discipline, and purpose, start by mastering your mornings. Protect those first thoughts. Speak words that lift you, guide you, and strengthen you. Because the morning doesn't just begin the day, it begins your life, one sunrise at a time. When the weight of life presses down on you, the easiest thing to believe is that your struggles are stronger than you are. But that is never the truth. Struggles are not walls meant to stop you, they are doors meant to be pushed open. Every difficulty you face is a silent teacher, shaping your character, sharpening your mind, and proving to you what you are really made of. When you wake up and declare, I am stronger than my struggles, you are refusing to let hardship define you. You are telling your mind that pain is temporary, but your strength is permanent. This single affirmation shifts your perspective. Instead of seeing problems as enemies, you begin to see them as opportunities. Instead of feeling crushed, you feel challenged. And challenge is what awakens greatness inside you. Psychology shows us that humans grow not in comfort, but in resistance. Muscles only grow when they are pushed against weight. The mind only expands when it is tested by difficulty. Struggles are that weight. They are the pressure that turns ordinary people into extraordinary warriors. And when you remind yourself that you are stronger, you stop running from struggle and start rising through it. Every morning when you say these words, you plant courage deep in your subconscious. Throughout the day, when obstacles appear, that courage will rise. You'll catch yourself standing taller, responding calmer, refusing to break, because your brain has already been programmed to believe that strength is your identity. So, never fear the weight life puts on your shoulders. Welcome it. It is proof that you are being prepared, not punished. And each time you whisper, I am stronger than my struggles, you are building a shield around your mind that no hardship can penetrate. Struggles will come, but strength will always remain yours. Feels good in the moment, but it steals from your future. Discipline feels heavy in the moment, but it builds your future. Every morning when you rise and affirm, I choose discipline over comfort, you are choosing the path that leads to freedom. Because true freedom is not found in ease. It is found in the strength to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. Think about it. Comfort whispers, stay in bed, skip the effort, avoid the challenge, and in that moment it feels safe. But later it leaves you with regret, with wasted time, and with the pain of knowing you settled for less than your potential. Discipline, on the other hand, whispers something different. Get up, take action, do the work. It feels harder in the moment, but it rewards you with progress, pride, and power. Psychology teaches us that the human brain craves short-term pleasure, but it also craves long-term meaning. Comfort satisfies the first craving, but starves the second. Discipline feeds the second craving and teaches you that temporary sacrifice leads to lasting fulfillment. This is why disciplined people often look unstoppable. They have trained their minds to value growth over ease, purpose over distraction, and progress over excuses. When you repeat, I choose discipline over comfort, you are reprogramming your brain to act with intention. You are reminding yourself that the small actions you take daily, waking up on time, moving your body, focusing on your goals, are the building blocks of greatness. Each choice for discipline is a brick laid in the foundation of your future success. So, when the battle comes each morning, and it will, remember that comfort will always try to hold you back. But you are not here to stay small. You are here to rise. Discipline is your ally. Discipline is your weapon. And when you choose it over comfort, you are not just winning the morning, you are winning your life. Your mind is powerful, but it is not always your friend. It can create fear out of nothing, it can magnify problems that don't exist, and it can chain you to habits that keep you small. But here is the truth, you are not a prisoner of your thoughts, you are the master of them. When you affirm each morning, I control my mind does not control me. You are claiming your authority over the most important battlefield you will ever face, the one inside your head. Thoughts will come and go, thousands of them every single day. Some will lift you up, others will try to pull you down. But the key is realizing this. Thoughts are not commands, they are suggestions. You are the one who decides which thoughts to believe, which ones to ignore, and which ones to turn into action. When you remember this, you step into freedom. You no longer allow fear, doubt, or insecurity to dictate your choices. Instead, you choose the thoughts that serve you and dismiss the ones that weaken you. Psychology shows us that the brain has a natural negativity bias. It pays more attention to danger, fear, and doubt than to opportunity. This bias once protected us for survival, but now it often limits us from growth. By repeating this affirmation, you remind yourself daily that you can override that bias. You can redirect your attention to strength, to courage, to determination. The moment you choose to control your mind, everything changes. Anxiety loses its grip. Procrastination loses its power. Excuses fade. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop being a victim of your thoughts and start being the author of them. So each morning, stand firm in this truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of them. And when you choose the right thoughts, the right life follows. This is how inner freedom is built. This is how you take back control. Deep inside, many people carry an invisible weight, the belief that they are not worthy. They work hard, they dream, they even sacrifice. But when success comes close, they sabotage it. Why? Because their mind whispers, "You don't deserve this." That voice is a lie, and it has held countless people back from the life they were meant to live. But each morning, when you declare, "I am worthy of success and happiness," you silence that lie. You remind yourself that your value is not earned. It already exists within you. Your worth is not measured by mistakes from the past. It is not defined by the opinions of others. It is not determined by failures, setbacks, or struggles. Worth is something you carry simply because you are alive, because you have potential, because you are capable of growth. The moment you begin to believe this truth, doors open. You no longer shrink when opportunity arrives. You no longer turn away from joy because you think you don't deserve it. You step forward, ready to claim what is already yours. Psychologists explain that self-worth shapes behavior. If you believe you are undeserving, you unconsciously choose paths that keep you small. But when you believe you are worthy, you allow yourself to take risks, to grow, to pursue greatness. That belief is the root from which confidence grows. Without it, no amount of effort feels enough. With it, even small actions build momentum. So every morning, repeat these words with conviction. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of happiness. Let them sink deep into your subconscious until they become part of who you are. Carry them through the day as a shield against doubt and insecurity. Because the truth is, you were not placed here to live a life of limitation. You were placed here to rise, to achieve, to experience the fullness of joy and success. And the first step is believing you are worthy, always. The world is full of noise. Notifications, endless scrolling, constant demands. They pull your attention in every direction. And yet, greatness has never been built on distraction. It has always been built on focus. Each morning, when you affirm, I am focused, not distracted, you are training your mind to choose clarity over chaos. You are reminding yourself that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on what does not matter. Distraction is the silent thief of dreams. It doesn't destroy your life in one blow. It steals it in small moments, a few minutes at a time, until weeks and months vanish without progress. Focus, on the other hand, multiplies your effort. When your energy is directed toward one clear goal, you accomplish more in a single hour than most people achieve in a day of scattered attention. Psychology reveals that the brain cannot truly multitask. What it does is rapidly switch between tasks, draining energy and lowering performance. This is why living distracted feels exhausting. You spend energy without moving forward. But focus creates flow. When you give your full attention to what matters most, your brain enters a state of power, where time seems to disappear and productivity soars. Repeating this affirmation each morning programs your mind to resist the temptation of distraction. Throughout the day, when your attention begins to drift, the words will echo within you, I am focused, not distracted. They will pull you back to the present, back to your mission, back to what truly matters. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. And when you live with that clarity, your life transforms. Progress accelerates, success compounds, inner peace grows. So guard your attention like it is gold, because it is. Your focus is your power. And each morning, when you choose it over distraction, you take one more step toward becoming unstoppable. Focus gives direction, but gratitude gives strength. Without gratitude, even success feels empty. Without gratitude, the mind is never satisfied. It keeps chasing, comparing, and complaining. But when you wake each morning and affirm, I am grateful for what I have, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. You remind yourself that your life is already filled with blessings, and that recognition fuels inner peace. Gratitude is more than a polite habit, it is a powerful psychological tool. Studies show that when you focus on what you're thankful for, your brain releases chemicals that elevate mood, reduce stress, and increase resilience. Gratitude literally changes the structure of your mind, training it to notice opportunities instead of problems, beauty instead of flaws, and strength instead of weakness. Distraction and negativity lose their grip on a grateful heart. When you are grateful, you no longer waste energy comparing your journey to someone else's. You stop chasing validation because you already feel complete within yourself. Gratitude does not mean settling for less. It means appreciating what you have while still reaching for more. It is the balance between contentment and ambition. Each morning, when you speak these words, you are telling your mind to search for good, even in difficulty. You are reminding yourself that challenges can carry hidden lessons, that setbacks can prepare you for comebacks, and that even in struggle, there is something to be thankful for. Gratitude turns ordinary mornings into opportunities for growth, and ordinary days into moments of joy. So let your heart whisper it daily. I am grateful for what I have. Carry that energy into everything you do, because gratitude is the foundation of abundance. The more you appreciate, the more life gives you to appreciate. And when gratitude fuels your journey, even the hardest days cannot steal your strength. Gratitude grounds you in the present, but growth pulls you toward the future. Life is not about instant perfection, it is about daily progress. When you affirm each morning, I am becoming better, every day you remind yourself that even small steps forward matter. You don't need to transform overnight. You only need to rise a little higher than yesterday, and that consistency creates greatness. Too often, people paralyze themselves by chasing perfection. They think if they can't do everything at once, they shouldn't even start. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. What matters is progress, the slow, steady improvement that builds confidence and momentum. Every choice, every effort, every attempt adds up. 1% better each day may not feel like much, but over time, it changes everything. Psychologists call this the progress principle. The feeling of advancement, even in small amounts, fuels motivation more than any reward. When your mind senses growth, it pushes you to keep going. This is why it's so important to remind yourself daily that you are becoming better. It shifts your focus from what you lack to how far you've come. It transforms frustration into fuel. Each morning, as you declare these words, your brain begins to look for proof of improvement. You'll notice new discipline in your actions, new strength in your character, and new clarity in your vision. Even failures begin to look different. They no longer define you, they refine you. Every stumble becomes a step forward because it teaches you something new. So carry this truth with you. Greatness is not built in one day, but it is built every day. When you wake and affirm, I am becoming better every day, you release the pressure of perfection and embrace the power of progress. And that steady progress, day after day, is what will lead you to the extraordinary life you were meant to live. Progress brings growth, But growth also brings new challenges. And with challenges comes pressure, uncertainty, and moments of chaos. Many people believe strength is about force, aggression, or pushing harder. But true strength often shows itself in calmness. When you wake each morning and affirm, "I am calm, even in chaos," you are programming your mind to stay steady, no matter what storm arrives. Chaos is unavoidable. Life will never be completely smooth. There will be unexpected problems, sudden changes, and moments that test your patience. But here is the secret. Chaos only controls you if you allow it inside. The storm outside doesn't sink the ship. It's the water that gets in. Calmness is the shield that keeps the storm out. Psychology reveals that when the body enters stress, the mind narrows. Decisions become emotional, impulsive, and often destructive. But calmness expands awareness. It allows you to see clearly, to think logically, and to act with purpose instead of panic. Calmness doesn't ignore the chaos, it rises above it. It says, yes, the storm is here, but it will not control me. By repeating this affirmation every morning, you teach your nervous system to respond differently. When pressure builds, your breath slows instead of quickens. When conflict arises, your words soften instead of sharpen. And when life feels overwhelming, you stand like a rock, steady, unshaken, unbreakable. This calm strength does not make you passive, it makes you powerful, because in chaos, the calm one leads. The calm one sees solutions others cannot. The calm one becomes the anchor that steadies everyone else. So, remind yourself daily, I am calm, even in chaos. Let those words sink into your mind until they shape your actions. Life storms may roar, but inside you remain unshaken. And that unshakable calm is one of the greatest forms of power you can ever carry. Calmness gives you strength in the present, but there is another battle that often lingers, the weight of the past. Mistakes, regrets, and failures can echo in your mind long after they've ended. They whisper, you should have done better, you should have known more, you're not enough, but carrying this weight only keeps you stuck. That is why each morning you must remind yourself, I forgive myself, and move forward. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is about releasing. It is telling yourself that you will not let yesterday steal today. Every human makes mistakes. Every dreamer falls. Every fighter stumbles. But those moments are not proof of weakness. They are proof that you are human, that you are trying, that you are alive. The real failure is not in falling. It is in refusing to rise again. Psychologists explain that guilt, when carried too long, becomes destructive. It locks the mind in a cycle of self-punishment, draining energy and killing confidence. But self-forgiveness breaks that cycle. It gives you the freedom to learn from the past without living in it. It transforms regret into wisdom and pain into strength. When you affirm this truth each morning, you remind yourself that you are not defined by your worst moments. You are defined by your decision to grow beyond them. The past is unchangeable, but the future is unwritten. And it belongs to those who choose to keep moving forward. So let go of the chains of yesterday. Release the voice that condemns you. Stand tall and affirm, I forgive myself, and move forward. Carry the lessons, not the shame. Carry the strength, not the sorrow. Because every sunrise is proof that life is offering you another chance, and you are worthy of taking it. Forgiving yourself allows you to move forward, but moving forward also demands urgency. Life is short, and every single day is a gift that will never return. Too many people live as if they have unlimited tomorrows. But the truth is, none of us do. That is why each morning you must affirm, I will not waste this day. These words ignite urgency. They remind you that today is a treasure that deserves your full presence, your full effort, and your full commitment. A wasted day is not always obvious. It doesn't only mean doing nothing. Sometimes it means being busy with the wrong things, chasing distractions, or pouring energy into what doesn't matter. But when you declare that you will not waste this day, you set a higher standard. You choose to align your actions with your purpose, to focus on what truly matters, and to make today count. Psychology shows us that regret most often comes not from what people did, but from what they left undone. the opportunities ignored, the chances missed, the moments lost. By reminding yourself daily not to waste the day, you are protecting yourself from that regret. You are telling your mind that time is precious, that it cannot be bought back, and that it must be used wisely. This affirmation creates urgency, but not panic. It's not about rushing, it's about being intentional. It's about living today in such a way that when your head rests on the pillow tonight, you can say, I gave my best. Whether that means working toward your dream, strengthening your body, building your relationships, or simply being fully present, you know the day mattered. So rise with determination and speak it with conviction. I will not waste this day. Let it drive your choices. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you that today is not a rehearsal. It is life. And when you treat each day like a gift, you begin to build a life that feels like a masterpiece. When you commit to not wasting the day, the next truth becomes clear. I am responsible for my life. These words hold immense power because they strip away excuses. They remind you that no matter what has happened in the past, no matter what challenges surround you now, your life is shaped by your choices. It's easy to fall into the trap of blame, blaming circumstances, blaming people, blaming luck. But psychology shows us that those who take ownership of their lives feel stronger, more confident, and more in control. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Because once you claim responsibility, you also claim the ability to change, to grow, and to build the future you desire. When you say to yourself, I am responsible for my life, you step into the driver's seat. You stop waiting for others to rescue you, to approve of you, or to hand you opportunities. You create your own path. You stop living as a passenger carried by chance, and instead, you live as a leader guided by purpose. This doesn't mean life will be easy. It means you will face setbacks, but you will also face them with strength. It means you may be knocked down, but you will rise again, because you know the responsibility lies with you, not with the world. That responsibility builds resilience, and resilience builds greatness. Every morning when you affirm this, you are rewiring your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, action instead of excuses, discipline instead of delay. It is a statement of power that shifts you from victimhood to victory. So when you rise each morning, tell yourself with conviction, I am responsible for my life. And let that truth guide your choices, your actions, and your destiny. Because once you accept responsibility, you unlock the greatest power a human being can hold, the power to shape their own future. Once you accept responsibility for your life, the next step is to embrace the idea, I choose progress over perfection. This statement is liberating, because perfection is an illusion, but progress is always within reach. Too often people hold themselves back, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves. But the truth is, perfection never comes, only progress does. By focusing on progress, you shift your energy from hesitation to action. Psychology tells us that small, consistent wins are what build lasting confidence. Each time you move forward, even by an inch, your mind begins to recognize that change is possible. That recognition is powerful because it fuels momentum. And momentum is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Choosing progress also means giving yourself permission to learn and grow instead of demanding flawlessness. Every master was once a beginner. Every success story was built on mistakes, setbacks, and lessons. When you commit to progress, you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as feedback. That change in perspective removes the chains of self-doubt and replaces them with resilience. Each morning, when you remind yourself, I choose progress over perfection, you silence the voice that says you're not ready or not good enough. You step into the reality that growth is always happening in the process, not just at the finish line. You recognize that even the smallest step forward is a victory over staying still. This mindset keeps you moving, keeps you learning, and keeps you becoming. Progress may not always be glamorous, but it is powerful. And in time, those small steps compound into transformation. So start your day with this truth. Say it, believe it, and let it guide you. I choose progress over perfection. Because perfection paralyzes, but progress empowers.